400 samurai, surrounded by 30,000 modern soldiers. Not one of them ran. This isn't a story about a battle. It's a story about the last night 400 men spent, knowing exactly when they'd die. September, Japan was tearing itself in two. Emperor Meiji was dragging the country into the modern age. Rifles replacing swords, conscript armies replacing warrior castes, Western uniforms replacing centuries of tradition. And the samurai were being erased. Not with violence at first, with paperwork. New laws stripped their stipends, banned them from wearing their swords in public, dismantled a warrior class that had ruled Japan for nearly 1,000 years. Mid-hook, imagine being told the thing that defined your entire bloodline doesn't matter anymore. At the head of this rebellion stood a man named Saigo Takamori. Here's the twist. Saigo wasn't some outdated relic clinging to the past. He was one of the architects of modern Japan. He'd fought for the emperor, helped build the very government that was now dismantling the samurai class. But when he watched his own people become collateral damage of the revolution he helped create, he made a choice that would define his legacy forever. He walked away from power. He picked up a sword instead of staying behind a desk. He became the leader of the very rebellion he could have crushed. Mid-hook, this man could have lived a long, comfortable life as a celebrated statesman. He chose a mountain and a death sentence instead. By September 1877, Saigo's rebellion had been crushed piece by piece. What started as an army of 40,000 samurai had been ground down to just 400 men, cornered on a single hill, Mount Shiroyama, overlooking the city of Kagoshima. Surrounding them, 30,000 imperial soldiers, Gatling guns, modern artillery, warships anchored offshore, cannons aimed at the slope. The math wasn't close. It wasn't even a fight. It was an execution waiting to happen. Imperial commanders sent messages urging surrender. Saigo's men had every reason to walk away and live. Not one of them did. The night of September Yusiserd, Esseno Safti Savzas. The last night these 400 men would ever see, inside a small cave near the summit. Saigo sat with his closest officers around a low fire. Outside, Imperial troops tightened the noose, campfires visible for miles down the mountainside. Inside the samurai camp, no panic, no last-minute pleas. Instead, men writing death poems. A centuries-old tradition where a warrior faces his final hours by putting his last thoughts into verse. Others wrote farewell letters to wives and children they'd never see again. Some simply sat in silence, watching the moonlight over the valley they were about to die defending. There was no fear in that cave. There was something stranger, peace, because in the code of Bushido, a death met with honor isn't a defeat, it's the completion of a life. Not how long you lived, but how you faced the end. These men weren't fighting to win anymore, they were fighting to be remembered. 4 a.m., September 24th, 1877. Imperial artillery opened fire on the mountain. The final assault had begun. Saigo Takamori, already gravely wounded in the initial barrage, could no longer walk. He turned to one of his most trusted retainers and gave his final order. Not a battle command, but a request. Seppuku, ritual suicide, a death by his own hand, with dignity, not one delivered by an enemy blade. Within hours, the battle was over. Every remaining samurai on that hill died, most by charging directly into gunfire, swords raised against rifles, because surrender was never on the table. The age of the samurai ended on that mountain in the span of a single morning, but here's the part history didn't expect. The same emperor who ordered their destruction later honored Saigo Takamori. Statues were built, his story became legend. They lost the battle, they lost their entire way of life, but 150 years later, we're still telling their story, and the men who defeated them, almost no one remembers their names.